Three ways. Three ways. Yeah, good. So what were those three ways? We have discussed two of them. What was the third one? We did var and we did let. Okay. So basically, I think we haven't did it. We just discussed about it. Okay. Okay. So basically, var and let we have discussed about them. Both of them are used to declare variables. Okay. But there's another way. Okay, the third one, and that is called const. So what do you think const stands for? What does const stand for? It's a constant. Yeah, exactly. And what is a constant? What is a constant? Yeah, exactly like that. So basically constant is something that cannot be changed. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna write father name, because father name cannot change, the biological father. So I'm gonna say the father, and let's say name. So it's not mandatory you use const or let or var, but there are some differences between all of them. Okay, and we are going to discuss them today, inshallah. Okay, so we do know about const. Const is word something that cannot be changed. So if there is something you don't want to change throughout your program, you are going to declare it with const keyword. Okay, so what is the difference between var and let, and which one we should use and which one we shouldn't? So first thing, which one we should use, that is let. We should always use let and const. Okay, and we should always avoid var keyword. But why is that? Why should we avoid them? Okay, so basically why should we avoid them and what's the difference between all of them? So the first thing, why should we avoid var? It's because of hoisting. Okay, there is a concept in JavaScript that is called hoisting. Okay, not hosting, it's basically called hoisting. And what is hoisting? Let me tell you what is hoisting. Let me bring it down here. Okay, so you guys know, we have discussed about it, I guess, in our first or second class. How is code read? Like, how do machines read code? Like, there's a proper sequential way. How do machines read code? Yeah, so basically, for example, if I do this console.log Ali, and then I'm going to say console.log, and let's say Sarah. So first thing, what is this? Is this what is the data type of this thing I've written here? What's the data type? Is it a number or an integer? It's a string. Good. Okay, so the question is, which one is going to be printed first, Sarah or Ali? Which one? Which one are we console logging first, Sarah or Ali? Ali, exactly. So what would be what would be the output first? Is it going to be Sarah or is it going to be Ali? Ali. Why is that? Because it's being console logged first. So why is that? Because code is always read from top to bottom. Okay, so basically first it's going to read this one. It's just a variable, it's not being outputted anywhere, so it's not going to do anything. Okay, it's just going to read this. Then it's going to get to the next line. It's going to see we are console logging Ali, so basically it's going to take this line and it's going to output it the console. So first thing we're going to see is going to be Ali, and the second thing we're going to see is going to be Sarah. Okay, why is that? Because code is always read from top to bottom. Okay, do you guys know about how code is read? It's always read from top to bottom. Okay, any questions about this? Okay, so now comes the good part. What would be the output of this one? I've written a variable with the name with var keyword, and I said the name is going to be Sarah. Okay, and then I console log the name. So what would be the output? Sarah. Exactly, good. It's going to be Sarah. Okay, so we have the Sarah. What would happen if I were to take this console log and I were to just shift it above the variable? Now what do you think would happen? Like I just swapped the places.
What is always arrow?
Code is always read from top to bottom. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when it reaches this line, it's gonna say console.log and name. JavaScript is gonna ask where is the name. Like there's nothing above this line, so there's no name above this line. So technically, it should throw an error, and the error should be that I don't know what name is. Like you're console logging the name variable, but there is no name before this line. So it should throw an error. Should it or shouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be an
It
error.
should. It should be an error. But the problem is, it's gonna show you the name. Okay, this thing is called hoisting. And now, what is hoisting? So basically, anything. First, do you get the problem here? Do you guys
Yeah.
get the problem? We have accessed the variable before declaring the variable. Like the variable is declared after the accessing. So basically, it's a problem. Why? Because we are accessing the variable first and we are declaring it after accessing. Okay, so that is a problem.
So
Yeah.
host, like, are you saying that it's something that's not like assigned?
Yeah,
It just
exactly,
won't be
exactly, exactly. It's not there, but it's still console logging it. Why? Because we have declared it after the console log. Although technically it should be wrong, because we have accessed it first and then we have assigned it. It's wrong. Okay, it should be assigned first and then it should be accessed. Okay, it's basically that's the technical part. You have to assign something in order to use that. So what's happening here is we are using it before we are declaring it, assigning it. Okay, so why is that? Because of hoisting. Now what does hoisting do? Hoist anything that is declared with the var keyword. What's going to happen is JavaScript is going to take this line, okay, and it's going to put it at the top of your scope. So basically behind the scenes JavaScript is making this line go all the way up here. Although even though if it's declared in the last line, JavaScript is going to take that line and it's going to put it at the top of the scope of your JavaScript code. Okay, so this is what hoisting is. It's going to take the line, it's going to put that line on the top of your JavaScript code. Okay, do you guys get the concept of hoisting? Like what does hoisting do?
Yeah.
So what does it do?
It brings the on top of the.
Exactly at the top of the scope of JavaScript code. So basically, technically, it's now right because JavaScript is taking this line at the top. So basically, this line is read first, and then this line is read. So basically, now it makes sense. Okay, but it doesn't make sense for the developer. Does it make sense for us now? Because we are accessing it first and declaring it afterwards. So it doesn't make sense. So that's why we should never use var keyword, because when you have a code that is around 3000 or 4000 lines of code, you don't know where that word is, where that variable is declared and where that is being accessed from. You wouldn't know because var is going to take it at the top of the scope. So you should never use the var keywords. And why is that? Because of hoisting. You should always use let keywords. So what do you think would happen now? Now we have removed the var, so there is no hoisting involved. So what would happen now? Would it show me Sarah or would it throw me an error? We are accessing it first. We are accessing it first. Yeah, it should now be an error because we are accessing it first and we are declaring it afterwards. If it were to be with the var keyword, it should show me the name. But now it's the let keyword. So basically it's going to show me an error. There's no error. Where can I see the error?
In the error.
Exactly, in the error tab. So I'm going to press it here. And what's the error? It's a reference error because we are not referencing it correctly. So it's saying cannot access name before initialization. So what it's saying is like I cannot do anything because you haven't initialized it. Okay, although we have initialized it afterwards, but what's going to happen is when it's going to read this line, it's going to search for the name. Now there is no name before this line, so basically it's going to throw an error and it's not going to read the next line, because whenever there's an error, okay, the execution of the code stops right there and then. Okay, so it's going to say that I don't know what you're talking about, because you haven't initialized this name and you are trying to access it. Okay, so how can we make this right? How can we make this right?
So you put the let on top?
Exactly, good. So I'm going to put the variable at top of the console log. So now we have a sequence. First we are assigning the variable, and then we are accessing it, and that is actual logic, that is a technical logic. So basically first the name is going to have a value of Sarah, and then we are console logging the name, so it's going to output Sarah, but there's no output. Why is that?
It's still on error.
Good, it's still on the error tab. So I'm going to go here. Now we have Sarah. So any question about let and var? Why should we use let and why should we not use var? So any questions about that? Okay, great. So now let's talk about const and let. So I'm gonna go here and say const and age, let's say 25. So here I'm gonna say console.log age. So what would be the output? What's gonna be the output? What would happen now? Is it gonna be
Will it be 25?
just 25 or something else as well?
Sarah and 25?
Exactly, it's gonna be Sarah and 25. Okay, so what would happen now? What's gonna happen now? I've swapped the console logs position. What's gonna be the output now?
It'll be 25.
Exactly, good. It's gonna be 25%. What would be the output now? What's gonna happen now? Like I've moved this console log up one line before declaring the actual variable. So something is gonna happen or not? Exactly.
It's empty. It's like empty.
It's gonna be an error. Okay, it's gonna be empty. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but this name is correct. Okay, name is being declared first and then accessed afterwards. So shouldn't there be name as well? Like the name is correct. Only the age part is wrong. So would the name be visible or not? Think like a programmer. Think like a programmer. We have declared the name. Okay, you have to read it line by line. Read like a machine. So we have declared the name. Okay, and then we console log the age. Now when JavaScript reaches here, it doesn't know what age is. So basically the execution of code stops right here. Okay, because we have an error. Nothing's gonna be read afterwards the error. So what do you think now the output would be? Now you know how the machine is reading the code. So would we see the name or not?
No.
No, because the execution stops. So we don't have a name, but we have an error. It's going to say cannot access age before initialization, because we have initialized it afterwards. Afterwards accessing it. Okay. Okay. So now we have the output. So what is the difference between let and const? Let can be overridden. Let can be changed. Const cannot. So for example, here I'm going to say we have declared it above. Okay. Now I'm going to override it. I'm going to say name. I'm not going to put let again here, because we have already put let here. Okay, we just really initializing it. I'm going to say, let's say Ali. What do you think the output would now be? What's going to be the output now?
I'm gonna be Sarah 25.
It's going to be Sarah 25 or 25 for Sarah?
Yeah, 25.
And Sarah?
You put Ali.
Exactly, it's going to be now Ali. Why is that? Because we have overridden the name to be Ali now. So it's going to be Ali. Although we have declared it to be Sarah first, but when the JavaScript reaches here, now it says that the name is not Sarah anymore. Now the name should be Ali. So it's going to be Ali. Okay, what would happen if we
Wait,
do...
the output would be Ali now, right?
Exactly, yes, it's gonna be
So the
Ali.
name first was Sarah, but then we changed it to Ali. So now the output becomes Ali.
Exactly, exactly. Why is that? Because we have overridden the variable. Okay, we have changed the variable. Okay, so now let's say I'm gonna do this. What do you think the output would be?
Will be 48 Ali.
Okay, any more guesses?
Ali 40.
Uh-huh. The name is accessed afterwards, so it's gonna be 40 Ali. What do you think if I'm gonna say that there's going to be nothing here? Now you have to tell me why. Why isn't there anything? But there is something here. I'm not gonna show you right now. You have to guess it on your own. There's an error. What would be that error? What do you think that error would be?
You put
Yeah.
age on the left name.
Yeah, something like that. So basically, what have we discussed about const?
So did we put like the variable before?
No, no, no. It's not. It's not. It's not that. That. No, no. It has something to do with const. What have we discussed about consts?
It can't be changed.
Exactly. It can be changed. So what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Exactly. I'm changing it. So basically, JavaScript is saying, "Nah, I can't let you do that." So basically, it's saying assignment to a constant variable. That it's saying that you are trying to assign value to a constant variable, and constant variables cannot be changed. So basically, that's why it's throwing an error, and it's saying it's a type error that you cannot change the type of that variable. Okay. So that's the difference between let and const.
So you
Let
can change let, but not const.
exactly, that's the main difference between them. Okay, you can change let and you cannot change const. Okay, and both of them do not provide hoisting. And what is hoisting, by the way?
It takes it to the top.
Exactly, it takes what to the top?
The let.
Not let, it's a var.
Oh,
Yeah, good. So any questions about these variables, when and where to use them? Any questions?
no.
Okay, you just have to use these two variables, the variable declaratives, the let one and the const one. Okay, so let me put comment here. I don't know why my comment isn't working, so I have to manually do it. And where's my asterisk? Okay, great. Now we're going to discuss about conditions. Okay, what are conditions generally? Basically, the rules you have to follow in order to do something. Okay, so that's exactly what we have here. So conditions in any programming language is assigned through if and else keywords. So what is if is basically if the condition is true, do this, otherwise do that. Okay, so I'm gonna say here if. Okay, so if refers to if, and if it's a function, and whenever something is a function you put parentheses after it. Okay. Okay, now inside these parentheses you are going to put your condition, like what do you want to check. For example, let's say I'm going to take a variable here. I'm going to say let a is equals to 10. Okay, I'm going to say a is equals to 10. So what is stored inside a? What is inside a? 10, exactly. So I'm going to say if a is greater than 10. Okay, so basically this one is going to check if value of a is greater than 10, and then afterwards you're going to put curly braces here. Okay, so these curly braces, any code you write inside these curly braces, it's only going to be executed only if a is greater than 10. Okay, so what do we want to do here is we're just going to say console.log and a is greater than 10. Okay, we just want to do this, and after these curly braces, outside of these curly braces, I'm going to put else here. Okay, and I'm going to say a is less than 10. So when would this code be executed? When do
If
you
A
think?
is greater,
Exactly. And when would this code be executed?
when it's less than.
Exactly. So what do you think the output would be? What do you think the output would be?
So it would be greater than 10.
Okay. So you're saying this one. Okay. Any more suggestions? Is it gonna be this one or this one?
I think it's going to be greater than
Okay, greater than 10.
less than 10.
So there's no one with a less than 10? Like there should be someone with less than 10. Or it's just gonna be greater than 10. Okay, let's just gonna be greater than 10. Okay. Again we have to read it like a machine. It's saying A is 10. Okay. So here we are checking, is A greater than 10? So is this condition true or false? Is A greater than 10? Is it greater than 10 or not? No. So basically this would never be executed. In fact, this would not even be read. Why is that? Because we're saying this thing is only executed if A is greater than 10. Whereas when JavaScript reads this, it says it's not true, it's false. So basically it's not going to be execute, it's not going to read this line. Okay. So we're saying if this is not true, if this is not true and we have something else, okay, anything apart from this logic, just do this. So what would be the output? Like if this is not true, just do this, do the else part. So what do you think the output would be now? Like this is not going to be executed, and we are saying if this isn't going to be executed, just do this. So exactly, it's gonna be A is less than 10 because still we don't have this. Why can't we see it?
There's other.
Exactly. There's a reason I'm asking you again and again, because there was an error. Okay. There was something I was working with the project, and I guess it was around 3 to 4 hours that took me to see that I'm still on the errors tab, and that's why I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so this is really important.
And
So
if you don't mind, can you discuss this one more
yeah, yeah,
time?
exactly, sure, sure, sure.
Because I'm just a little I'm confused.
Okay, so let's say this time we're gonna say A is 6. Okay, so how do we check for conditions? We say what? We say what if you want to check for conditions? We say if. Yeah, and then
Parentheses.
parentheses. Good. And then inside these parentheses we are going to have a condition, like what do we want to check. So let's say we want to check if A is greater than 6. Okay, so this is going to be only executed, like everything inside this, oh, not inside this, and after that we're going to put curly braces. Okay, so anything you write inside these curly braces is only going to be executed if the value of A is greater than 6. It's only going to be executed then. Other than that, it's not going to be executed. Okay, so what do we want to do? We just want to say console.log A is greater than 6. Okay, I'm not going to do the else part at the moment. So what would be the output now? We have said here that if A is greater than 6, like it's only going to be executed if the value of A is greater than 6. Just do a console log of A is greater than 6. So are we going to see an output or not? Like what do you think? Is there going to be any output or not? No. Why is that? Because this is only executed when A,
So A is not greater than 6?
exactly, A is not greater than 6. A is 6, it's not greater than 6. So basically this is not going to be executed, so we are not going to see anything. But what would happen if you were to change this 6 to 8?
And A is greater?
Yes, now it's going to say A is greater than 10. Why is that? Because now this condition is true. A, the value of A is 8, so 8 is greater than 6, so it's going to say A is greater than 6. So basically this is only going to be executed if this condition is true. Okay, so What would happen if this condition isn't true? Like I'm going to say 6. Is this condition true now or not?
No.
No. So is it going to be executed or not?
No.
No. So there's going to be nothing. But we want to say like a default case, like if nothing's executed, we want something to be shown on the screen. So at the last, after these curly braces, we're going to put what? Else. And else is not going to take conditions. Okay, else does not take conditions. Why? Because else would mean that if nothing executes, just do this. Okay, if nothing executes, this is the default case. You have to show this otherwise. Okay, if nothing's executed. So what do we want to say? We want to say console.log a is not greater than 6. So what would be the output now? Is it going to be a is
A is not greater than
exactly? Why is that? Because this condition is false. So this is not going to be executed because a is not greater than 6. A is equal to 6. So it basically shifts towards the default case. So we have a is not greater than 6. But is it true? Is it true or not? A is 6. It's not greater than 6, but a is 6. Let me do this. A is less than 6. Okay, is the output correct? Although the output is correct, but logically this is wrong. Why is that? Because a is 6. A is not less than 6. So what should we do? Like there's only two conditions. One is checking if a is greater than 6, and the else condition is checking if a is smaller than 6. There should be another condition, and what should that condition check?
equals to.
Exactly, good. Now we have to check for the equals to condition as well. So now we have three conditions we need to check. So when you have three or more conditions to check, after the if part, else is always on the end. Okay, you have to remember this. Else is always at the end. So after the if part, we are going to say else if. Okay, else if means what? If this condition, if the condition isn't true, check this one. Before going to the else part, check this condition. So else if and then curly braces, and then you are going to put your condition inside this. And how are you going to check it? We're going to say a and then double equal to 6. Now this is a really
So this
important
is.
part.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah,
this one has parentheses.
yeah, it has parentheses. Only the else doesn't have it. Okay, else doesn't have the conditions. Because why doesn't else have it? Because else is the default case, like it's the last case. You don't have to check anything for it. You are checking everything before the else part. Okay, else is just the last case. Okay, so what is a double equal and a single equal? What's the difference between them? Okay, this is really important and you need to get this. Okay, so single equal is assignment operator. And what is assignment? What is an assignment? Like when you give the value to something. For example, I am giving someone a name. Okay, in order to call them, I am giving them a name. So basically I am assigning them a name. So assignment, you one equal, only one equal is used to give value to something, and two equals is used to check the left and right hand side. It's called a comparative operator or a comparison operator. Okay, so this double equal is doing what? Is it assigning the value or is it checking the value? Exactly, it's checking the value. It's checking the value of the left hand side, that is a, and the right hand side, that is 6. And after the parentheses, we're going to put curly braces. And it's going to say console.log a is equal to 6. Okay, now how the code is read. I need you to pay again close attention. Although this is really a simple program, but it has a lot of logic here. Okay, so the first thing it checks is when it reads here, it's going to say a JavaScript is going to read a is greater than 6. Is this condition true or false? Is a greater than 6 or not?
No.
No. So it's not going to read this one. It's not going to read these curly braces. Now it's going to get towards the second condition. This condition is saying is a equal to 6. Is it true or not?
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. So basically what's going to happen is it's going to output this line and it's not going to read anything after this line because the condition now is true. So basically our basically aim is achieved. So nothing is going to be read after the condition is met. So if you were to go back, what would you see? You're going to see a is
A is
equal to 6.
equal to 7.
So what would happen now?
That's the with natural tuning
Yeah, what would be the output then?
is not
There is nothing with,
less
exactly, it's less than 6, but how is it reading it? Okay, let's go how the machine is reading it. First, JavaScript is going to get here and it's going to say a is greater than 6. Is this condition true or false? Is a greater than 6 or not?
false.
No. So it's not going to read this one. Now let's move towards the next condition. It's going to get here. Is a equal to 6?
No.
No, it's not going to read this one. So now we're left with the last condition. Like if nothing's true above the else part, like if this isn't true and this isn't true, now we're left with the default case. Now it's going to move towards the else part and it's going to say what? A is less than 6. Okay,
Yeah.
is it difficult? Like it's kind of like confusing, but if you were to do it like 2 to 3 times, it makes sense. Okay, so what would happen now?
A is greater than 6.
Yeah, it's going to read this line. Is a greater than 6 or not? Is this condition true or not? It's true. So basically it's going to read this line and it's not going to execute anything after this line. So we are going to see what? We are going to see a is greater than 6. Okay, now comes the really fun part. Let me change this one as well back to 6. Okay, now it's going to say a is equal to 6. Okay, what would happen if I were to wrap this 6 in a quotation? Now first tell me, is this a number or a string? Is this a number or a string?
A number?
It's inside the quotations mark.
String.
It's a string, yeah, it's a string. So what would happen now? What would be the output? What do you think the output would be? Think like a machine. No. Which condition is going to be true? For the first one, second one, third one. Like what's going to be outputted? A is greater than 6, equal to 6, or less than 6?
Equal to 6.
Okay, equal to 6. But the question remains, and that is, it's a new question. This is a number, yes? Is this 6 a number or not?
Yeah.
What about this one? It's a number or a string?
String.
So can a string equal to a number? Can a string be equal to a number? No. They are two different data types. Okay, it's not logical. But the problem is, it's still gonna say a is equal to 6. Now why is that? Now that's a really important concept. Okay, in JavaScript this is a big concept. Why is that? Because this double equal only checks for the value. Okay, this double equal only checks for the value. Now the question is, are the values of these two are same or not? I'm not talking about the data type, just the values. Are the values same or not?
The same.
They're the same. It's 6, this one is 6, and this one is 6 as well. Although these are two different data types. This is a number and this is a string. Although these are two different data types, but the value is same. And this double equal checks only for the values, not the data types. Okay, that's why it's preferred that you use triple equals to. You use 3 equal. Why is that? Because this 3 equal checks for the value as well as it checks for the data type as well. So now tell me what would be the output. Okay, let's think like a machine. Is a greater than 6 or not?
No.
No, it's false. So it's not going to read this one. Let's move towards the next part. Is a triple equal to 6? Although the values are same, but this triple equal checks for the data type as well. This is a number, this is a string. So are the data types same or not?
No.
No. So the condition gets false. So this is not going to be read. So what would be the output then?
It's less than 6.
Exactly. It's going to say it's going to be less than 6. Okay, so do you guys get the concept of double equals and single equals and triple equals? Like it's one of the interview questions, and it's really a big concept. So when is one equal used? Like when is this one equal going to be used?
To the side.
Exactly, when we are going to assign a value, when we are going to give a value to something. What about double equal? when a double equal is going to be used?
For the variables,
And now
the same.
single equal is used for the variables, like we are giving a value of 6. So double equal is used for what? Like this one is called assignment operator. What is double equal is called? It's called comparison operator or a comparative
Comparison.
operator. Yeah, comparison. So basically, when you want to compare two things, you use double equal. Okay, just like we did here. When we want to check whether a is equal to 6 or not, we use double equals. Okay, when we use double equals, when we want to compare two things, when we want to compare left hand side and right hand side. Okay, but this double equal only checks for the values, so that's why we should always use triple equal. And what does triple equal, and what's the difference between triple equal and double equal?
The triple is for the data type.
Exactly, basically it checks the values and the data types. Okay, and the double equal only checks for the what? Double equal only checks
Like
what?
if the triple equal, it checks if they're equals, if the same,
Yeah, and the same what?
the same type.
Exactly, good. Basically it checks whether they are equal, whether the values are equal or not, and it also checks whether the data type is equal to not. Like it shouldn't be like one is string and one is a number. Okay, it should be the number. If you're checking for the number, both of the left hand side and right hand side should be a number. If you're checking for a string, both of them should be a string. So basically double equal checks only for the value inside, and triple equal checks for the value as well as the data type. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so any questions until now?
No.
Okay, great. We're gonna do the last concept. Okay, it's really
So I
important.
have a question.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so you said that the string is 6. What if it was something like greater?
Like this.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna do double equals. Now double equal checks what, data type, or does the double equal checks data type or not?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't matter if we have a string here or not. Okay, so is a greater than 6?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, it's
No, so it's not gonna read this one. What about this one? Is a equal to 8? Do not check the data type, just check the value. So is a equals to 8?
no.
No, so it's not going to read this one. Now we're left with what?
It is less than.
Exactly, so it's going to say it's less than 6. Okay,
Okay.
so now we have the last concepts and conditions. Okay, it's a really important concept, and I need you to pay close attention, and that is, what if we have a range of conditions? Like what if we want to check for a range of condition? For example, uh, I don't know what happens in USA, but here we have something called Federal Board and Rawalpindi Board. Basically, kind of like a big exams. Okay, so when you have that big exam, so basically the output, we have a mark sheet. Okay, basically it calculates your grades, your percentages, and your everything. So basically, there's a logic in that, and that is, if the percentage falls between 90 and 100, is going to be an A plus. If it falls between 80 and 90, it's going to be an A. If it falls under 70 and 80, it's going to be a B, and so on. Okay. So what's happening here is, I'm going to put comment here as well. So basically, if the percentage is between 100% and, where's the dash, 90%, so it's an A, just like here as well. And if it's between 89 and 80%, it's going to be a B, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what we are doing here is, we are checking the ranges. Okay, if anything falls between the range of that thing, just do that. It's again a condition, but the condition is inside a range. Okay, so how do we check for a range? So we say, if, let me get a variable here. I'm going to say again a is equals to, let's say, 20. So we're going to say, if a is greater than 5, 6, or 5, let's say, And now we want to check if a is greater than 5 and less than 30. So basically we are doing what? We are checking for multiple conditions. So how can we do that? So we put the logical operator of double AND. Okay, so this double AND checks for multiple conditions in a same if. So we're gonna say here a is less than 30. So what's gonna happen now here is it's gonna check for both of them, like both of them should be true. This AND means every condition written here should be true. Okay, so I'm gonna say here console.log and let's say good or whatever you want to write. I don't know what to write at the moment, so I'm gonna say just say where's G, good. And here we're gonna say else, we're gonna put back. Okay, again I'm gonna say if you want to check multiple conditions you put AND. Okay, this AND is a logical operator and it checks that every condition is true. Okay, so the question is a greater than 5? Is it greater than 5 or not? Yeah, good. So it's not gonna just print it good at the moment. Okay, why is that? Because this AND ensures that each condition is true. So after reading this condition, JavaScript is gonna move towards the next condition. So now we have to check for this one. Is it less than 30 or not? Is it less than 30 or not?
Yes.
Yes. So are these both conditions true or not?
Yes.
Both of them are true. So we're gonna see what? We're gonna see good.
The double AND here?
Yeah, double AND. So basically this double AND checks that every condition is true. Okay, so what would happen if we do this? Now let's again think like a machine. Is a greater than 5? Is it true or not? Is a greater than 5 or not? Hello, can you hear me? Is a greater than 5 or not?
Yes.
What about this one?
19?
Yeah, is a less than 19 or not? Is the value of a less than 19 or not?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Is
Is
it less than 19?
a is 20. So is 20 less than 19 or not?
No, it's greater.
No, exactly, it's greater. So basically, although this condition is true, but this one gets false, and ensures that each condition should be true in order to execute this. So is good going to be executed or is bad going to be executed? And checks that every condition is true, although the first one is true, but the second one is false. So is good going to be executed or not?
Good.
Uh-huh. And checks each condition should be true.
Are the conditions true?
Exactly, and checks that all the conditions are true. So basically this first one is true, but this second one is false. So this is not going to be executed because and says that each condition should be true. So we're gonna see bad here. Okay, so let's say it's gonna say, let's say 30, and we're gonna put another and we say that a divided by 2 is less than uh, 10 maybe, or 30, 50. Okay, now we have three conditions. Now this one is a little tricky. So tell me, is a greater than 5? True or not?
True.
True, good. So now we move towards the next condition. Is a less than 30?
Yeah.
True. Now let's move towards the next condition. Is a divided by 2 less than 50? So what is a divided by 2?
10.
10. So is 10 less than 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. So basically now what do we have? Should we see good or bad now? All of these conditions are true.
So that's good.
Exactly. So that's good. So what if we do this? Or maybe let's say 8. So let's read the conditions again. Is A less than 5? Oh, sorry, greater than 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is A less than 30?
Yes.
Yes. So A divided by 2 less than 8? Is A divided by 2 less than 8?
Bad.
Exactly, it's false. This condition is false. Although these two are true, but and says that each condition should be true. So it's not going to read this one. It's going to read the next one. So it's going to say bad. Okay. Now we have the inverse of and. Let me remove this one. And instead of this double ampersand, you use these vertical bars, and this is called or operator. Or operator. So basically this or operators only checks for one condition. If one of the condition is true, it's going to say just do it. Okay, it only checks for one true condition. So let me do this. Is A greater than 5?
Yeah.
True. So is A less than 10?
No.
No. So but this condition, only one condition is true, and or says that even if one condition is true, I'm gonna execute it. I'm gonna execute this. So what do you think the output would be?
Good.
Good. So it's gonna say good. So what now? Is it greater than 50? No, but or checks that one of the, even if one of the condition is true, just do it. But is A less than 10?
No.
No. So basically, is it going to be good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Yeah, good. Okay, just the last thing now. Let's do this and we can end the class now. Okay, so is A greater than 50?
No.
No, but or checks that even if one of the conditions is true, just do it. Is A less than 100?
No.
Uh-huh. Is A less than 100? Yeah, it is. So basically it's gonna say good. So now we have good, because or says even if one of the conditions is true, just do it. Okay, any question?
Whichever one is true, that's what it will be.
Sorry?
Whichever like solution is true, that's what it will be.
Exactly, it's gonna just do it. Even if one of the conditions is true, if we have, let's say, 100 conditions and 99 of them are false, and even one of them is true, or is gonna execute it. Yes. So, and but for the and scenario, if 99 are true and one is false, and is not going to execute it, because and says that everything should be true, every condition should be true. Okay. Okay, so that's it for today. And for the homework, you guys are gonna create a mark sheet. I'm gonna list the details in the assignment. Okay, but it involves if and else conditions. Okay.
Okay.
So any questions?
No.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay, you guys can leave, and I'm gonna send you the class.
Okay.
Inshallah, we'll meet inshallah next class. Okay. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.